Greetings internet denizens. Say, what's up with all that punching by these BJJ specialists lately? The stereotype that these BJJ stars are not going to be competitive, due to their butt scooting, seems to be an unfounded generalization. Nonetheless, to commemorate the debunking of this myth, I have made this limited edition t-shirt, now available on my website. Wear this as you walk out of your BJJ gym. As fair warning, to a would-be assailant, thinking you are going to pull guard in a street fight. Pondering deeper, I was wondering to myself lately, does MMA have a stereotyping problem? To put it another way, does the community tend to jump to conclusions without considering all the evidence? The reason I say this, is that MMA forums and YouTube comments are full of generalizations about fighters based on superficial characteristics that seem to have no basis in science or reality. Grouping fighters into buckets, based on how they look, seems par the course in the community. For the record, let me state that I don't believe that a fighter's appearance has any predictive value as to their future behavior. And until presented with evidence to the contrary, I am highly skeptical. All that being said, drawing false equivalences is a core component of driving pay-per-view sales. Unless you're Ronda, no one is interested in paying $60 to $100 to watch a slaughter. Drawing tenuous similarities is part and parcel of the culture. If the main event conjures up no image of real stakes at play, there would be no incentive to pay to tune in. The latest equivalence being drawn now seems to be that fighters from a particular country are all similarly gifted in wrestling. Don't get me wrong, Zabit is a very well-rounded fighter with some amazing wrestling skills. Many familiar moves that you see Khabib execute can be spotted when you watch Zabit in the cage. For example, the use of crucifixes during ground and pound. The use of wrist control and rides to control a turtled opponent. The wide variety of body lock techniques like throws. Khabib 101. However, Khabib's wrestling goes above and beyond Zabit's skill set. For starters, Zabit is almost exclusively a body locker. He does not drop to doubles, or look for single legs. He also doesn't pin you against the cage with only an underhook. Khabib's ability to control you with only one arm opens up a wide variety of offensive moves, which I have covered in my previous studies. Khabib's confidence in releasing the body lock allows him to punish you with strikes if you try to stalemate him along the cage. In comparison, Zabit will hang on to the body lock, unwilling to strike, looking instead for some kind of body lock takedown. Releasing the body lock also allows Khabib to drop low, to go for a double leg, and drive you backwards powerfully. Zabit is more conservative, and tries to capitalize on your balance being backward, by going for a back trip with the body lock still on. This is not as powerful, but at least if it fails, he still has that torso grip. As alluded to earlier, against the cage Khabib doesn't waste time trying to get his hands behind you for the body lock. He will take the riskier single leg if it's there. In his fight with Raging Al, he timed Raging Al's fleeing to the open angle perfectly, catching him several times with a trip. Secondly, Khabib's ability to stand up in your guard and land heavy ground and pound is unique. As mentioned previously, he seems to be the most proficient user of this technique in the UFC. In comparison, Zabit primarily strikes off his knees when he is in guard, and doesn't transition as smoothly from strikes into a passing position. Finally, Khabib's ability to stop your first move during grappling scrambles is more refined. Anticipating your opponent's next move and preempting it is an advanced skill, and Khabib will often immediately address small problems before they become big ones. For example, when an opponent tripods up during a backtake, Khabib instantly hooks a leg to stop the base from building. Zabit's awareness, on the other hand, is not so acute, and he doesn't consistently look for this counter. To be fair, he has done this in the past and is aware of it. Just that he does not take all the windows to do it when presented. In another example, rather than let your hips turn down so that you can start building a tripod, Khabib will scoop your knees and rotate your hips upwards, so that you cannot plant your knees to start building a base. Spotting these small problems developing, and identifying the appropriate response, is a sign of high grappling IQ. Khabib has clearly rehearsed ahead for certain situations that might develop against the cage. In comparison, when presented with the same situation, Zabit will let the hips turn and allow the base to start building. As you can see, Being married to the body lock position closes off certain useful counters and first move stoppers. Okay. That's it for today. Just to be clear, Zabit's skills in the cage are amazing, and I am a fan. Throwing him under the bus was not my intention. It just so happened that he was a good counterfoil to highlight some of Khabib's unique fighting attributes. That being said, let me leave you with this question. Which fighter is named after the amount of battery life they have after 3 rounds? I'm here all week, folks. Last weekend, after 3 rounds of hard fighting, he appeared close to collapse right at the end. Let me know if you think Zabit has a cardio problem. Okay, that's actually 2 questions. But who's counting? Till next time.